Order submitted. Order
Okay,
canceled.
good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Just looking at this now. We have had some news here which caused that spike up. There's a kind of triple test there. We push up. We've made 3 attempts to go higher. Not sure about this one because there's going to be some stops up there. Can't see much buying down here. Not on my chart anyway. So we'll see how we get on. So we're going to break new high. 2 attempts to go lower. Strong push up. There is a possibility of that, actually. Yeah, there's a couple of people looking at that, so that is a possibility. Daryl, how you doing, buddy? Sacred Geometry, how you doing, mate? How you doing? So, leg up, 2 attempts to push lower, strong push above the EMA. You think there was a chance we're going to get to the top there. So, could do with a little pullback, kind of breakout pullback. Still haven't got any deals from Apex yet. Still on the 50%. I was hoping we'd get something, but it kind of doesn't make sense. So generally, we're still trending up, really. Obviously, we're getting pullbacks. Pullbacks, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had a reasonably trending day today. You know, whether we end up doing something a bit wider or something, who knows? Maybe something wider like that. We'll see. ATR's up again today. It was shockingly, I mean, it was around about 1.5 yesterday. It's 2.75, so that's much better. I think it's, well, nice. I kind of like it around about the 2.5. I do. So really, your average risk then tick above, tick below is about 3 points. I go for 3 points, so it's kind of a 1-to-1 for me. Exponential, how you doing, buddy? Everybody all geared up, ready for Christmas? Christmas presents everywhere. The bank going ka-ching every 5 minutes. We're banked with Monzo, so we got one of the, you know, with the app. Every time you spend something, you get ka-chings. It's been constantly going in this house. the last week. Good, mate. Good on you. Good on you. Well, I got to say, I think there's more volume than there was yesterday at this time. Where were we? 2:30. All we'd had is this. Well, 2:36. Yeah, all we'd had is this. But there's a lot more volume today. I don't quite know why that happened like that. Well, maybe if it's going a bit sideways, who knows? But today, I mean, we had that. Now we've got that. It's 3 times as much. So I was thinking there's no real reason why it should be down. I mean, traders are still working, aren't they? They don't break up for the Christmas holidays just yet. Another couple of weeks yet. Max seems to think volume's going to be a bit lower. I don't really recall it being lower this Christmas last year. So I am just going to put a line slightly wider there to touch that. Trouble is, that's the news. The trouble is, when that, I don't pay much attention to that. It's because the news, obviously, it can spike out. So what I'm thinking is something more on the lines of that. Have a leg up. This, to me, we have been trending for a while now. Obviously, certainly all week. There's no arguing that up with the pullback, up with the pullback, up with the pullback, up with the pullback. I mean, that's a reasonable pullback, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get, obviously every time we hit these highs, we're making new and newer highs, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're up here by the end of the day. But I'd certainly be expecting a leg and a leg. The trouble is, when you start off a channel like that, when it goes up like that, quite steep, I'll look for a couple of legs back and a wider channel. If it was going to stay in that channel, I'd expect it to continue to push up. And that doesn't look the case. So I would be kind of cautious about a second entry long here. I would much prefer a bigger correction, really. I could be wrong, but yeah, Thomas Wade's got rid of that altogether. I think he's probably right. I don't think it's a channel. It may be, but I don't think that'll hold. I mean, you could say it's a channel now, touch, maybe, but my gut feeling is this is going to come down a bit more. I can't see buyers getting there. Maybe they will. But I'll be inclined to get rid of that as well, I think. I'm not a massive fan of it just yet. There's no entry there, even if you wanted to take it. Certainly not on my chart anyway. On my other chart, there is, but it's just too congested. You can say that's a hidden second entry. We go down, up and down, but it's just sideways. You don't really want to be trading that. I have a feeling this isn't going to go much further before it has a correction. I just don't like it as a chair. Someone else has just made that point. Too much empty room. It just, channels generally don't work so much. I'd expect, it's too steep, I think. I can't see another push up like that, so I'd expect a correction here and then slightly a wider channel. I mean, it's the news that's caused that. I expect this thing to settle down. I mean, there's always a possibility, that we end up doing something like that. Or whatever, but I wouldn't be wanting to go long here. I'd expect a correction here, either for a wider channel or maybe something along those lines. Toothache's finally cleared itself up. Oh, I tell you what, when you get toothache, it's a nightmare. It's absolute sheer relief when it stops. Gotta say, that's the worst toothache I've had for a fair few years, I think. Trouble is, the dentists in the UK are crap at the moment. They really are. There's a massive shortage of it. It's just bollocks over here, for want of a better word. We pay things like national insurance, tax, and mainly national insurance to cover medical. You guys in the US have medical insurance. We pay national insurance, which covers things like our dentistry costs and medical costs. But yeah, I mean, you get something like, you get kind of something require of a knee operation. I tore some cartilage, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I had to wait about 2 years. It was over 2 years by the time I had the appointment, and then you go through your normal doctor, and he tells you to go away, suck a load of ibuprofen for a couple of weeks. That doesn't work. You go back, he refers you. That takes 6 or 8 months. You see a specialist. He may send you for an MRI. Takes another few months. Then you've got to make an appointment a few more months to see the specialist, and then he says, "Oh, you need an operation." That's going to be another 6 months. It's ridiculous. I mean, I wouldn't mind paying private medical care if I got some sort of rebate on my national insurance, but I pay my national insurance for that very reason. And dentists aren't much better. There is no disrespect to any dentists or doctors out there, by the way. It's the people that run these machines, not the doctors themselves. They're worked off their feet. Okay, so 2 legs back. See, if we put that back, that's starting to not work now, isn't it? So if we do put that back, already this is a break. That isn't going to go up that steep to make this a real valid channel, which is why I kind of got rid of it. It just doesn't look right, all this space in here. This thing's either going to go sideways, a couple of legs back, and make a wider channel. As I say, there's always a possibility that something like that. So we may get a couple of legs down. It's hard to tell at the moment. The news didn't do anything to help volume. No, not really, did it? It did for about 20 seconds after that. It just went sideways. I mean, if you look back yesterday, we certainly had way more volume. Where are we now? So market's officially been open for 15 minutes. So looking back yesterday, it's about there. So we've had that in the same time we've had that. So that was the equivalent. Yesterday was the equivalent of that, really. So we have had double the volume. So it is better than it was, but it's not really as much as you'd like. Trouble is the lack of volume, the lack of direction. It's hard to know where things are going. 10 bars don't tell you nothing. 200 bars will tell you something. But this doesn't really. But I don't like that channel. If that's the case, break new high doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to remove it. We've got to push up sideways and a couple of attempts to push higher. I'm paying attention to the news now for trading evaluations, and have you noticed? I wasn't watching it, but I'm guessing it spiked down first before it shut up. So if you had an order below here for 10 contracts, you wouldn't get your 6 points. It would trigger you and then stop you out. It does that so many times now. Whether it's to I don't know why it does it. Just be guessing, really. But I mean, if you put an order down here, triggered you, you wouldn't have got your 6 points and then stopped you straight out. Doesn't often just shoot in one direction anymore. You'd be better off just either having a trade up here and hoping it goes long, rather than having, OCO order, because it'll kind of whip in one direction and go in the other. And OCO orders, if you've got a long here and that shoots down first, triggers you long, you're okay. So I think you've got more chance now of picking a side. If it goes up, triggers you, makes you trade. If it goes down, triggers you. I think you got more chance of just taking a punt, either go long or short. So this thing looks like it's trying to go up. Maybe. I wouldn't expect a channel that goes up as steep as that. That was just purely because of the news. There's no way it's going to go up that steep. Otherwise, even if you take it from here, I mean, it's gone up 16 points. You can't expect that to do it. So, push up 2 legs back. Maybe that wasn't such a bad place to go long, but it's only really, you want it confirming another time, really. Yeah, someone else has just put that on. So, he's kind of thinking the same way. In fact, he's got that there. I kind of looked at that, but the trouble is we're out the top already, so my guess is think smaller at the moment. So if we knew we were having a channel like that, something like that isn't so bad. I mean, it's not a great signal bar. High and low would have been better, but okay, so we're coming up to all-time highs again. It's flickering around a little bit there. Maybe it picked up some stops there, I don't know. Yeah, someone else has done the same as me. Thomas Way's done that. I'm not a fan of it. He's kind of picked a place. We've only really hit it once, so he's done the same. I think I prefer that. At least we're touching it a few times. Now, if you continue to push out, that might be a different story, but so it is moving. It's moved up there pretty rapid, but as long as it tends to move in a direction. So looks like a couple of legs up there, leg and leg. And is that a leg and a leg as well, is it? Not quite, I don't think, no. Until on these big news days, it continues up the spike. Yes, it does that a lot, doesn't it? It pushes up, comes back a bit and continues on up. And it kind of has two scenarios. Sometimes it pushes up and then recovers it all pretty quick, or it pushes up, bounces a couple of times and then continues on up. This one, obviously, and I think rightly so at the moment. If we look what's happening, we're pushing up, a couple of pullbacks, pushing up, a couple of pullbacks. What a steeper one here. But I mean, that's a fair size pullback. So, you know, it may even break new highs and start to pull back. Who knows? But we're certainly bullish at the moment. Well, generally, these markets are always kind of going up, aren't they? You know, generally. What's crypto doing today? Bitcoin hit about 103,000 yesterday, didn't it? And then took a bit of a pullback. There's bound to be people taking profits at 100,000. Nice big round number. Where is it today? Just under 99,000. So now it's had that little bit of a pullback. I'm guessing there's going to be some buyers. Let's have a look. Ethereum hasn't done as well as I thought it might. It's still early days yet. It's not even at 4,000 yet. I mean, Bitcoin, its all-time high is $30,000 ago, but Ethereum is still about $800 away. Solana, its all-time high is $260 last year. That's my little magic bullet, H-bar. I've done right out of H-bar. I didn't have a lot in there, but I had good things for H-bar. I've got some render and some what's it called? I've got some Gala. That's not doing too bad at all. Up nearly 200% in 30 days. Ondo, where is it? Can't find it. Okay, there's that measured move. So, yeah, I wonder if we will end up having something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. Somewhere along those lines. It's after that pullback, it's continuing on up. So, with the exception of a correction, we've just hit all-time high. So, unless it doesn't plummet now, I can see a bigger correction, then maybe some more of the same. So there's that measured move anyway, so that's played out nice. So pretty standard that, wasn't it? Push up, 2 legs back, push up. Trouble is, when it has those legs back, it's not a fantastic looking bar there. If it was a better looking bar bouncing on top of support there, I may have considered it. But it just wasn't. It was a little bit vague, wasn't it? If that, kind of broke below there and bounced off that, I may have had a go at that. So there's a few traders got that as well. I'm not sure about that. I just don't like all this space down here. It looks much better there, personally. But it's fitting nice at the top. That's why I like having this. It's nice to know what other people are thinking. So you guys can see my chart, but I've just got to kind of make my own mind up. It's kind of why I started using this, just to build your own confidence, really. So you took that. Good on him. So that's the latest. 2 of them have got that, so I'm keeping an eye on that. I don't like all this space down here, but at least I know that's a possibility. And if it is that one, it could come down to the bottom of it, which is down here, so we could get a steeper correction. So let's have a look. Shoulder, head. We get another little pullback here. Lower, higher, a failure here might be interesting. Back to the EMA. Still counter trend trading for me, really. It's interesting. Shoulder, head. Let's see if we can break above there. There's bound to be buys in there if that finishes bullish. But that's the last place I'd want to buy, really, personally. It's floating right in the middle of there. If that triggers, my gut feeling, instinct is it's going to have a leg and a leg. It doesn't even look like it's going to trigger. Yes, if there is a wider channel, this could come down significantly more. But for me, I like how that EMA is almost working up with that bottom of the channel. I've heard Mac talk about that before, and it's working up really nice with that channel. So that's another reason. Hey Jan, how are you, buddy? That's another reason why I like that channel. Okay, so leg and a leg. Let's see what happens here. I'd still be cautious here personally. Especially after that measured leg. If there is a bigger channel, we could come significantly lower. It's stacking up now anyway. That's just gone too far really for anything left. So there are some traders who are looking at that. So if that is a channel, then obviously we could come down significantly more. But I couldn't take a long there if I wanted to. I know it's all still, you've got 4 bars stacked side by side. It's clearly a little bit sideways. So it could trigger you, touch this line and come down. If it does drop out of here and comes around here, I'll adjust that channel then. So, it's interesting. It's kind of a little bit of a range, leg and a leg. It's kind of a fail breakout. It's a doji there, and it's not any better on my other chart, so I'm leaving it alone. If that was a bullish bar there, a little bit lower than there, I may have had a go at that. A leg and a leg. I just don't like that. There's only 2 points to the top. I go for a little more. So it's a bit sideways here, so I'm going to set this one out. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're kind of hitting an area around here, aren't we, where we're struggling to get above. So it has triggered that. But if that would have been bullish, mega bullish down here, I may have had a go at that. I like the way it dropped and then reversed quickly, but it didn't push up high enough for me. On my other chart, it looks even worse. So you won't really want to go long here, would you? So it's kind of nice having 2 charts. Another reason as well, obviously, is there's a possibility of that, so we could come down significantly more. Yeah, there's a lower high. That I think that's asking to get stopped out now, I think. Now, so on my other chart, it's actually really different, this. That bearish bar there. Ooh, look at that. I was going to say that bearish bar there has triggered. There you go. So that would have worked really well, actually. So there's obviously people. What is going on here? This must be news. Oh, yeah. Okay. Medium impact news. Okay. I'll tell you what, lately, medium impact news is starting to play a bigger role than it's ever done. Up until the last couple of months, 2-3 months, I've never known medium impact news to act like this. Do you remember that once, month and a half ago, 2 months ago? It rocketed in a direction. It went up 25 points on a medium impact news. So that trade would have worked. It's a little leg and a leg. I stayed out of it. It was a doji, and I'm torn a little bit between. So we may get a leg and a leg. If it comes down to here, then Glad I wasn't entry there. Forgot about the news. Yeah, it's never really played much of an impact. But lately, over the last 2-3 months, it has. So there is a higher low there, but after little break new high, it's a no-no. That is, we could have a leg and come down to here. I've got mixed feelings about this. In fact, let's just copy that and put that there. It's fitting nice at the top, so we could have a leg and a leg. If we do have a leg and a leg down here, then that would interest me, but that doesn't. That little bar has trap written all over it. It hasn't triggered anyway. There's going to be some stops there, you can bet. So if we have a leg, if we get below there, we should get to this bottom. So I'm leaning more and more towards that now. Yeah. Leg and a leg. So we've pushed up again. Leg and a leg. 1, 2, 3. You may call this a triple test. Trouble is, if that is a bigger channel, it could trigger it and come down here. 1, 2, 3. It is a triple test. Let's just get an order ready and see how big it is.
Order submitted.
That's it's made the decision for me, so there's a no-no. We are kind of sitting at yesterday's high as well. Other chart doesn't look any better. If that was a nice bullish bar, I'd have had to have a go at that. Bounce, bounce, bounce in an uptrend. So there's a lower high there. I'd like to see that trigger. If that triggers, it may get below there. I would prefer it to break below there and then turn. Now turn. You could trade that as a triple test, failed breakout. See what happens here. It's interesting. Trouble is, if that's the channel, we've had a break new high. So tempting that is. There's buyers off there, surely. I have to go for
Order
this.
submitted.
It's on my other chart. It's at the bottom of the channel. Leg and a leg. 3-point risk. Triple test. We're in an uptrend. There's going to be some stops there for sure. See, he's got it as a break of a channel. If it's a break of a channel, it's still 2 legs back. So I just have to go for this one. Everything looks okay. It's a second entry long. It's a triple test. If it's a break of the channel, it's 2 legs. If it's in the channel, which I think it is, I just got to go long here. Yeah, there's a few in here. Thomas Wade's in it as well. I think. Yeah, he is. Yeah, there's quite a few in it, actually. It's the trade. You've just got to take it. It's not a huge risk. It's just got to be taken 2 legs back. It's either in the channel or it's 2 legs back as a break. It's a second entry long triple test. There is a higher low there, but not a very strong one.
Order filled.
There we go. Beautiful. So, let me just check everything's closed like it should. So, let's call that a second entry long. Anybody else take that, did they? Nice one, man. Cheers, buddy. Lovely trade. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. It's nice when it works. It's nice when everything goes right. The thing is, I got a good run now. I've had about 10 trades in a row, but if you sit and wait for those good ones, I notice a difference in my trade. If I take slightly more risky ones, you lose more. So sometimes less trades, it's always been the same for me. Less is more, really. And I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable now with just letting it go for the 3 points. Trouble is, you go for a point, half the time you're out. You're out in that first push. When you go for 3 points, or Brant, are you in this? Are you? I'm assuming you're going for a bit more. When you go for a bit more, sometimes you've got to sit for a little bit of a pullback. In fact, it's the same. In fact, it's exactly the same on here, so I'll mark it on here anyway. I didn't expect that. Mind you, it did. Sorry, it did go for plenty. So, second entry long. My only slight thing that I noticed was this. But to be honest with you, I'm not concerned with that, because for me, it's 2 pushes back. You won't really want to go short there. It is a triple test, and there's probably going to be people short in there, but I wouldn't want to short there. So if you are still in that, Brant, I would say that's more likely to get stopped out, that one. So maybe that doesn't concern me so much. 1, it's a fail breakout of a range, clearly ranging fail breakout. 2, it's a second entry long. 3, it's a triple test. 4, it's off the key entry point. You got to go for that. It's just coming back and retesting it, I think. Let's have a look. Where's my little... Oh, someone shorted that. Someone shorted that. Mind you, it is a triple test, but to be honest with you, I generally don't take triple test against the grain, and at the moment we're going up. I'm not saying it won't work. It's triple test, but that's a strong move there off there, and we know we've had a strong push up with the news, so I would generally expect that to continue on up. So short in there, but I think that's a good strong position. Now, as we know, sometimes when price pulls back, it picks off weaker positions, but I don't think in that move there's any stronger position than that one there. So I'll be shocked if that comes and holds. Having said that, well, I mean, look at that. That's come down. We know touch, fail break out of this. So we know it's bouncing off there and look. So we'll see. We can adjust this slightly as well. So we could bring that to there. How much did it go for? So if it goes for here, it went for 3.5. So 3 3/4. So 3.5 points. It certainly gave me what I needed. Yeah, see, Thomas Wade said he was looking at the short-term trend. But I think that's less important. These short-term trends come back to to this area before they move up. It's just people taking profits. So if there is a short-term trend there, we've already had a break of it and a matching low, so I think it's irrelevant, really. That's too, if you look at the Penguin trader, he never talks about, oh, we haven't had a break of this. He's looking for 2 attempts. Not only did we have 2, we had 1, 2, 3 attempts. So it doesn't matter about the short-term trend channel for me. We've bounced once, 2, 3 times. 1, it's a second entry long. 2, it's a triple test. 3, it's off the key entry point. And 4... What's 4? Let me think of 4. It's a failed break. We had a little failed break out and pushed straight back up. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, it's not as good as you get, but it's certainly a solid trade, in my opinion, that you've got to take. That's what I mean. I tend to just... It's about what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at. You're waiting for the new high. Yeah. Absolutely. I think if you're in doubt, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If someone else said, "Oh, you should have taken it," it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's your money that's on the line, so you have to be comfortable with it. So I know sometimes I'll see, Ali or some of you guys get the trade, but I don't get frustrated if I find other people who take the trade and I haven't. You have to kind of do what's right for. In fact, look, Brant. There's ILO there. You have to kind of do what's right for you. Regardless of what anybody else says, because we all read the market slightly different. We all trade ever so slightly different. We have our own kind of flavour on the markets, and we've all kind of finely tuned it to work how we want it, to suit us. So you have to go with what feels right. Sometimes I'll avoid those and wait for a higher low. So I'm quite surprised how different my bars are today, but there is a high low on the second chart, which is working. We know there's going to be stops there. So when it gets above there, which I think it's likely to, unless it starts to range here, but that to me is a big target, isn't it? We'll see anyway. If it breaks above there, I can see having a little spurt. It's the same on this chart. Triple test. There's going to be shorts in there. I'm guessing the stops will be above there. So it came back, but it didn't touch that. Now, there is a bit of support there, so let's put that there. There's a failure on my other chart now. To be honest with you, I doubt I'll get involved in it now. It is kind of getting a bit choppy. It is readable, and there doesn't seem to be any major traps. That one worked. The short came down, didn't shoot back up. But there's a second entry short there, which is now triggered. That gives us a failed second entry. So if this pushes up above there, I guess as it may at that, but I wouldn't want to trade in here at the moment anyway. When I've already done a trade, sorry about that. I'm kind of super cautious about that anyway, getting back in. It is a little bit choppy, but it is readable. It doesn't look too trappy. Okay, that's interesting. So there is a failure there. We have trapped second entry short, so triple test short. Market's up at the moment. So I wouldn't expect it to come down, but you never know, do you? Let's just have a look at the bigger picture now, see if this does continue sideways, then maybe there might be something larger here. Okay, we're going sideways here, so my guess is we may even have a kind of a two-tiered channel up here now. Let me have a look. No, I don't. Okay, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea. I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Let's just move that. Okay, still going sideways. I wonder if we'll end up having something like that, a two-tiered channel. I wouldn't be surprised. It's working the top tier. All-time highs, goes sideways. Couple of legs down, bounces off here and pushes up. I'm roughly guessing at that. So maybe something like that. Looks like a diamond pattern. Yeah, we're definitely pushing up. Up, pull back, up, pull back, up, pull back. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So are we going to have second entry long off here? I tend to get extra cautious when I've taken a trade. I'm up $300 per account, so I tend to get extra cautious then. So I'd have to see one that looked absolutely amazing before I took another trade. Now, I wish we had another offer on at the moment. I'm not paying 50% off. Not a chance. I'm surprised we rarely go a couple of days without having another Apex deal. Trouble is, yeah, what is it, 80 something dollars now plus the $125? It's $200 for a PA, an evaluation of PA. You could pay $80 and get a My Funded Futures one for that. So it's no point at the moment. They must know that. I'm surprised they don't. Whether they just catch up or what, but you would think really they'd be on top of it, wouldn't you? Because they know, 90% of the time we're on 80% at least. So they know people wait for the 8%. So why keep them waiting? There's a chance you're going to, customers are going to pick up business elsewhere. I tell you, I've been watching Jan on YouTube. That couple that they kind of follow their life on. Is it Svalbard? Svalbard, which isn't it the most northerly island? I think it's governed under Norway. I think. There are a couple that live in, doesn't it stay pitch black something like 2 or 3 months of the year up there? Interesting to watch, actually. You got to obviously carry some sort of a rifle around with you, for polar bears, but just looks, there's something about it. I went to the Alps to work in France when I was about 21, and there's something about being in the cold in the mountains. Obviously, you've got to be well suited up for the temperatures, but digital nomad visa life there might be a good experience. Wouldn't it be nice though? Apparently, anybody can just move there. There's no issues. You can just. It's not. I wouldn't call it the most popular place, but it's just. I like a little bit of astronomy. You can just imagine what the stargazing is like there, and you can imagine what the Northern Lights are like. And for a completely stress-free life, that's as long as you can deal with cold weather, of course. something nicer. That's the beauty about being a trader. You're not limited by you're not stuck to any one place. You can kind of go wherever you want, within reason. I think it's Svalbard. I know it's the most northerly place you can live, I think. But they do spend, I think, 2 or 3 months of the year in darkness, basically. And it's quite odd to see them walking around shopping at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when it's pitch black. Digital nomad visa. Yeah, they are governed by Norway, I believe. Yeah, but yes, apparently you have to carry one. I think it's very rare, polar bear attacks. But yeah, obviously, you got to be cautious. But I just love the idea of living in a place like that. Maybe not all year round, but there's just something nice about being in a cold, snowy environment. Obviously, you got to be kitted out well. You don't need it's in a strange sort of from an ecological point of view. How nothing would grow, would it really? Well, I suppose you got a lot of things are grown indoors now, aren't they? Hydroponically, stuff like that. But obviously, with just having no sun, there'd certainly be an effect on things. Well, I'd say no sun, no light, 2-3 months of the year. So it wouldn't be a budding place to grow crops, you wouldn't think. Mind you, most things are imported nowadays, aren't they? There's nothing you can't kind of get anywhere. Sometimes it's cheaper to import meat for us from Australia than is. I mean, lamb in Australian lamb is cheaper than British lamb. It's kind of strange, really. You got to fly something around the world, fly it or sell it, whatever you do. Well, it shouldn't work like that, does it? But, should it? But it does. So, I'm just going to clear this up a bit. So, no argument there. We're clearly ranging. So, when we do that, usually we'll find a point and we'll push up some more. So, my initial thoughts are that somewhere around here, if it's going to go up, this is probably likely where it'll go from. Let's have a look at the 10,000 tick chart, see if that gives us anything. Okay, that's interesting. So so there's kind of our break. It would have to come over here really to work, wouldn't it? It doesn't really give us much, does it? So we're obviously flitting around all-time highs at the moment. See, so really, you can trade this style on any chart. I mean, looking at the daily, it works exactly the same, really. You wouldn't really know that was the daily, would you? Unless you had the daily written on there. I mean, obviously taking away the times, but it kind of works the same. Obviously, you can see we're generally trading up at the moment. Up, pull back, up, pull back, up, pull back, and so on and so forth. So at the moment, based on what I can see there, we're due for an half-decent pullback. I can't remember how things usually work at Christmas. You hear people talking about Christmas rallies and that, whether that's just mainly in crypto, but we had that pullback there. We had one there, a couple of legs up, one there. We've kind of got two legs up, leg up, bit of a pullback, but we've been trending up without any significant pullbacks for a while now. So you think really we kind of be overdue. But it really does work pretty much the same. A little bit of sideways, fell breakout, back in. A little bit of sideways, fell breakout, back in. That's the 50,000 tick chart. So you can clearly see we're up, pull back up, pull back up. We've got to be due something here, haven't we? Would you look at that? We're away from that EMA for such a long time there. Yeah, I'd be a bit cautious about going short here. Cautious about going long here. Yeah, there's kind of your diamond pattern, isn't it? Well, diamond triangle, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Do they drop out at the bottom and then rock it up? I don't know. So it'd be interesting to see when we come in contact with this area. It's, I don't know, what you call that area? Golden Cross, I don't know, something spectacular. A little drop down here, a leg and a leg, and a long here. I don't know. I'm cautious about this because of the daily. The daily looks like we could have a strong pullback. Obviously, we're bouncing once, twice, three, four, a bunch of times off all-time highs. So it's hard to say, really. Yeah, I'm just super cautious when I'm already up a trade. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than giving money back. I'd rather lose my first trade than win a trade and then lose it. Yeah, he never took that trade, Thomas. I'm surprised. Shannon's walking up lovely. Clearly 2 legs back. He's got it as a failed breakout. Second entry long, failed breakout. Triple test, bounce, bounce, bounce. Strong bar. There's going to be... You like to think there's going to be some shorts there, don't you? But he never took it. I'm surprised. I thought he would have done. I tend to be a little bit more strict than Thomas Wade. He takes a lot more trades than I do. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop my replicanto and I'm just going to trade one of my accounts. Let's pick 17, I think. Let's just check one opens.
Order submitted.
Yeah.
Order cancelled.
I'm just going to trade one of my accounts. I like to keep the others on a win, especially on a Friday. If I do see something. So we're bouncing on this line again, and we've got this area. We're coming into contact with this. You've got to be super cautious though. We've bounced all-time highs. We hit all-time highs. We've tried a bunch of times. I certainly wouldn't take that anyway. It's gone too far in my opinion. Mind you, having said that, it has hit that line that I've had. I didn't put that line around the price. Price hit my line. So maybe that will work, but I'm certainly not taking it. In fact, if you extend that line over, that's where I had price initially. So, but it's nothing for me. If that was sat right on here, I may be inclined to have a go, but okay. Another good reason to avoid that. So now that's gone past there. Let's put that back to where it was. Call that a break. Multiple attempts to push up. So it'd be interesting to see what happens now. Based on the daily, we are overdue a decent pullback, I think. So we've got a leg and a leg back there. I would avoid a fell break out of this at the moment, even though does look like a lay and a leg. I mean, even when we were in this channel, we tried 3 times to push up. We had a small break, tried again. It's struggling. And after just looking at the daily, we certainly could pull back substantially. So I'll be inclined to just, not even consider a long year at the moment. So all-time highs multiple times. Got burned on that triple test. took one of those, did you? Did you say that one or one of these? Yeah, I'd have avoided all this. They're a bit sketchy. Yeah, it's. I mean, initially with this one, we pushed up, but then we made 3 or 4 more attempts to push higher. So I get cautious then, especially when we're at all-time highs bouncing. Yeah, it's. I mean, even if I wanted to take something like that, I would expect that sat on top of there with the tail below it before I'd even consider it. It is frustrating, I know, isn't it? And that kind of doesn't help, does it? Yeah, I mean, there is a second entry long there which worked to the top, but once you're getting below here and yeah. You've got to ask the question, how many more times is it going to try and push up before it eventually drops out? Now, it may push back in and it may end up here tonight, but, once it starts to do that so many times, it's going to break at some point, isn't it? And, and these are a little bit too far off this bottom for comfort. So, but mate, not everyone says when they take a loss. People get embarrassed by it, really, and you're up and saying it. I know a lot of streamers, some streamers who kind of make a video after, kind of won't show the losses or whatever. But there's nothing embarrassing about taking losses. It's all part of it. I know a lot of people that sort of post on Facebook groups and stuff that don't post the losses. It's kind of why I first started to like Thomas Wade, because he did. And I think it's important to show people that, not everybody wins all the time. I watched a little bit of Tom Hugard, and he takes his fair share of losses, and he's a tried and tested trader. He's been around for some years. He's written some books. He does lots of speeches and lots of talks, and he's considered as kind of a more of a well-known trader. And I watched him a couple of weeks ago. He was down $14,000. When he has bad days, so it does take a lot to get in your head that losses are a part of trading. You tend to think for some reason that when you get good traders or great traders don't take losses. It's not true. I always thought, no, that they don't. When they get so good, they don't take losses. But yeah, they do. So you kind of think losses, is an indicator that you're failing in some way. It's not at all. There's not such thing as a trader who doesn't take losses. It just doesn't happen. There are traders who take maybe less losses because they're experienced. But, it's all about really how you manage them. If you can completely switch off, put them aside and move on to the next one as if it's never even happened, that's kind of where the better traders are. I kind of sort of a little bit more obvious. Thomas Wade, I'm thinking about a failed second entry short above the EMA. Failed second entry short. We haven't even got a higher low yet. I'm just cautious here, especially after looking at that daily. We've got this 2 legs down, so we could have 2 attempts to push higher and then a wider downtrend. This is telling me it's struggling to get up. So I think personally it's more likely to come down than go up. But that's just call it an educated guess. But we have been bouncing so many times off that overnight high, all-time highs. Consider a higher low, yeah. This could be the start. or the next, leveling, moving down. But there is a break at that channel. 1, 2, 3 attempts to push high, couldn't. Strong push below the EMA, couple of retests, and then straight at the bottom. So my instinct tells me this is more likely to come down. So I certainly wouldn't be thinking about going along. But it depends how you look at things. I was just trying to find something from here, but I don't think there is. A possibility, but I'm not so sure. So channel down, one attempt to go higher. It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, we are trending up, aren't we? So, but we are due a pullback. We've had a pullback. We've had this push up, new highs multiple times. We are kind of overdue. But I don't know. Ultimately, you never quite know, do you? If it was that simple, would it's time to go down now? It'd be easy, wouldn't it? Yeah, still quite a few people are thinking about longs. Thinking about a failed second entry short, might consider a higher low. He's actually in a long, but he got him down there, so that's fair enough. Yeah, just... We've already had our break, and we have made multiple attempts. So I just wouldn't go long at the moment. I wouldn't go short either. Sit at open a live personal account too. I've been asked that quite a few times lately. I might consider it after Christmas. I was going to in the year. I was going to put £5,000 of my own money in and try build that. But what I decided to do was get a few payments and then start to filter some of that in. Once I can get consistent payments, I've had payments in dribs and drabs. So my accounts are looking nice and healthy now, and hopefully the plan is to try and take $1,000 per month out of each of them. And then what I think I'll do is filter half of that into my own account. maybe get a few thousand in there and trade one contract. You get super cautious when you trade your own account. But I wanted to wait till I'm confident that I won't do anything stupid, and I'm pretty confident I'm there now. But rather than use my own money, it doesn't seem. I know it sounds a bit of a contradiction, but I'd rather take money from winnings and put in rather than use my kind of own money. You know what I mean. I am going to fund my own account to copy trade into 5 micros. Yeah, you notice everyone goes super sensible, don't they? I'm trading 2 contracts. I wouldn't consider that. I think my maximum risk with my own money, maximum, would be 5%. But, if I get 3,000 there and I trade 1 contract, what's that? That's 5% maximum, is it? $150. It's 5%. So, yeah, I think it's kind of the next... it's the next move in the process, isn't it? I think we're all going to do it at some point. Why didn't that copy? Yeah, I think it's the next. It's the next line in the sand, really, isn't it? No. So this is a possibility. I mean, we've broken out of this. We might push up and retest it, which we kind of are. But as we've already had a break and we've tried multiple times, even before we'd had the break, we still struggled to get up much. I mean, that one you'd expect, wouldn't you? That one we're closing, that one we're closing in the middle, and then we had those 3 attempts. So, I don't know, maybe we're due for, who knows. Yeah, someone's saying maybe a second entry long. I don't know, that looks like a channel to me with a break. The trouble is, because we've had the break and 3 attempts to push, I have to, be open to the fact that now we could be moving down. And now we've pushed below the EMA. There's a lower high there. Now, I'm not ready to go short yet. I prefer it to come down a bit further. I want it to get below this line, but I'm just aware that there is a possibility that we could be going down and not up. And you kind of got to keep your options open. I like the fact that we're holding there, which makes good sense to go higher, but this to me looks like a nice little channel, 2 legs, up and then straight below that EMA. So I'm cautious here. Yeah, I did fund my own 2 weeks after I started. It didn't go well. I think I blew through about £5,000. What's that? About $6,500, just under $6,500 in pretty much 3 weeks. I could have done it a lot quicker as well. So this is triggered. Let's see if this comes down now. So channel down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go. Now, it may well go up. I could be completely wrong, but I think sometimes you've got to be aware that there is a possibility. This isn't clean for me. We've had a break, a new high, and made 2 more attempts. So this isn't obvious it's going up. It's not obvious it's going down, but it could be. So I have to pay attention to this because there you go. There's people, I know for a fact there's people buying off there. Well, you just can't, in my opinion. You just have to leave this alone. And that's the reason why. So if you did decide to buy there because it's bounced off the top, you just got stung. So there's still no guarantees it's going to go down, but well, there was certainly some selling there. You can't deny that. That one I'll go, I'm pretty sure. There we go. So is this going up or is it going down? Looks like it's going down to me. So there was a trap there. I still wasn't ready to take that at the moment. It's still a little bit early yet. But yeah. Everyone seems to be thinking it's going up. We put that. One comment, maybe a second entry long. People are still thinking about going up. I'm sitting on my hands. Now someone's finally said it looks bearish, but Thomas Way's looking for a long. Yeah, this is just a little bit. Well, there you go. There's your answer. We got in partly, but that's a channel down to me. 1-2 attempts to go higher. Bearish bar, straight down. Now, there is a correction there as well. So, I wouldn't rule up the fact. Let's have a look. I wouldn't rule the fact that this thing will eventually go high. You never quite know, do you? But in the short term, for me, that was struggling to get up there. I just couldn't be thinking about going along here. So 2 legs down. If we can get a second entry short under this support line somewhere here, then I'll be interested in going short. But it's had 2 pushes down now. It's touched here, here and here. If it has 2 legs up and closes in nice and bearish, then I'll have a go at that. I'm only trading on one of my accounts now. I've left the rest. So push up, correction, push up, correction, push up, correction. Push up makes sense, doesn't it? We're due for a pullback. We had to be. I'm going to take. Well, I said I did, but I think I've deleted the email where I got invited to download the software. In all honesty, John, it's just for you get used to a certain platform, wouldn't you? I wouldn't move, I don't think, from me. Not only that, I've got a trade copier for Ninja Trader, Guardian Angel for Ninja Trader. So the trouble is, you move on to something else, you're vulnerable then, aren't you? You haven't got your bits of software around you. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like, but I don't know. Apex are bringing out a new platform. Trouble is, these platforms really take years to iron out problems. Apex brought out that trade copier and it was just a nightmare. So I'd rather let a new platform spend a couple of years being used first before I understand Apex are looking into new, as a business, you've got to look into new ways of, earning revenue, haven't you? Good on them. But to play around with it, yeah, but I don't many will take it. I mean, for me, it was just, I went, yeah, I'll have a go, just out of curiosity, see what it looked like. I think a platform is about, is it visually pleasing as well? Does it look straightforward to use? I mean, in all fairness, I think, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I think Quantar looks flipping complicated to me. I like the fact that there's little on this chart. I think some people think the more complicated it is, the better it is. It's not the way, is it? Think about it. A friend of mine says they're about to get raided by the FBI for running a Ponzi scheme. No, that's no. No, I don't know where you heard that from, mate. I've never had a problem with Apex. In fact, I heard Darryl Martin talking on some sort of program last night, or something or other. But raided by the FBI. Apex have been around for a few years now. They're moving on with new rules, new settings. They look to me like a company moving forward. Now, they did go for a rocky bit. There's no argument there, but that doesn't make sense to me personally. I hope not. I got my accounts with them, but no, I wouldn't believe too much about sort of what you hear. Oh, incidentally, I did mention yesterday, fast track trading that did go down. I've opened applications for refunds. So if anybody, didn't you get stung, John? Was it you got stung a bit by fast track trading? You can make a claim now for refunds. No, Bullinox is not what I've tried, actually. My Funded Futures, Take Profit Trader, I've tried. UProfit I came from before Apex, and was it Earn to Trade? I had one on Earn to Trade 3.5 years ago, three and a half years ago. What firms do I recommend? Just the three I mentioned. Apex, I use Apex. Now I've put a claim in for a payment that I know I broke the rule with one of my accounts and it got refused. And then I put a payment in for one I know I follow the rules and it got approved. So my honest opinion, as long as you follow the rules, and the rules are there, trust me now, to protect your account. Like, you can't risk, with a $2,600 drawdown, you can't risk more than $750. Now, any professional trader in the right mind would tell you, if you were risking a third of your account, you're an absolute maniac. So really, it's there to help us. We should never, ever really, in real life, be risking more than 30% of our profits. We should never be doing that. You're never going to be consistent. The reason you kind of get away with it with Apex is because although you're playing with $2,600 drawdown, it only really costs you maybe $100. Sent an email for a refund, not holding my breath. Well, you never know, mate. It's worth getting in there. You may get something. Might sort of take the sting out the tail, you know what I mean? But I like Apex. Apex have been around for a few years now. They have got a good track record. Now, yeah, they went for a hiccup sort of the middle of the year, and that was purely and simply they were victims of their own success. They grew exponentially. They came out with this 90% offer and it was costing $16 or something. They just went massive too quick. Now, you know, anybody the business grows that quick just can't simply cope with it. And, you know, they pissed a lot of customers off. But, you know, you can't open a cafe in your town, call it Starbucks, and employ 3,000 people. You know what I mean? With one cafe, it takes time to grow. So they were victims of their own success. So Apex, I recommend. And the other two I've tried are My Funny Futures and Take Profit Trade. And both of those, because you pay a set fee for the evaluation and a PA account. So I think My Funny Future at the moment is $80. So you pay $80 and you get an evaluation. If you pass an evaluation, you move on to a PA. You don't have to pay any more. So there are two reasons. I like the payout system. You can get paid pretty quick. Although Apex have come up with their own now that as long as you've done 8 trading days, 5 of them need to be over $100 per account. You can put in for a payment any time of the month. Now, I had 2 payments recently. I had a 1,000, two 1,000s, a 1,200, a 955, and a 2,000. The last one I had was 2,000. I put it in Thursday, and it got approved late Friday night. And Saturday, I had a message from Plane, as you do. Great things are coming your way. It was sent to Plane. Then obviously Plane take a couple of days. Yeah. I'm using Apex at the moment, and I've got one account with My Funny Futures. So the reason I like My Funny Futures especially is I can trade at the same time with Apex because I trade it through Trade-Ovate, and you can have a Trade-Ovate account and run it at the same time as Rhythmic, so I can kind of trade them with the rest of my accounts. And not only that, I because I've been trading Apex for so long, you kind of get comfortable with a certain way a business, reacts to emails, how quick. I love how quick. If I took an evaluation now, I'd be trading it in 3 minutes. I love how everything's quicker. My Funny Futures takes a bit longer. I've waited a couple of hours. So there are certain things, aren't there? I believe still time to. I think they've changed it. See, I go for 3 points, and I had an email from them, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and I said I go for 2 points on the ES. Am I going to get any problems? And the answer was no. I take 3 points now anyway, so it doesn't worry me. But I know I can do whatever I want on Apex. As long as I follow the rules, I can do whatever I want, really. And the rules are straightforward, really, but they are there to protect you from losing your account. And I'll tell you something now. You wouldn't expect a company to do things to save us, really. You tend to think companies do what's right for them. But by having that you can only take 500 out when you hit $2,600, it's going to stop you from blowing your count. 100%. The 30%, it stops you from moving your stop or doing. You can still do it, but you know it might hiccup your next payment. But if I got lucky now, took a massive risk, moved me stop, got the account to almost being blown, and then ending up in profit by $1,000, they wouldn't take me money off me. They would refuse me payment, but say I could keep the money, and I've got to trade for another 8 days. So there's so much going in your favour, really. These new rules are getting me much more consistent. So yeah, I just like everything about Apex at the moment. They've got something coming out soon as well, where they are allowing you to go straight onto a PA account. I heard Darren Martin talking about it on an interview last night. Excuse me a sec. Now, obviously, it's attractive to some people. Now, for me, it depends. If I'm paying $200 for it, I may think twice. Having said that, at the moment, it's 50% off. You're paying $80 plus $125 for a PA fee, so that's $200 in itself. So it depends how much it is. But I mean, Fast Track Trading did they charge some like $300 or $400? I'd rather do it the other way, really. So channel break. There's a bullish bar down there, which is just triggered. I am wondering whether we're just starting to range now. Somewhere along those lines. I know a lot of Apex have had a rough ride, and I know people like Kellyanne gave them a bit, in my opinion, a bit of a raw deal, saying they were scammers. Now, just because you say to someone you haven't followed the rules, we're not paying you, even though you've made money, trade them right for 8 days and then we'll pay you, doesn't categorize someone as a scammer to me. Now, they didn't used to monitor their rules. They didn't used to police their rules. And I think people just went mad. Well, look at Alpine Trader, for instance. He was trading without a stop. Now, in the real world, you could never do that. You could never have an account of your own money and trade without a stop. It's not strictly true. Some people do trade without stops, but they have a mental stop. But he was prepared to either make the profits or risk the whole $2,500. You can't do that in the real world. He made $365,000 in about 5 or 6 months. You know how much he made this month because he can't do it? $2,000. So now he's had to trade the right way, following the right rules and protecting yourself. He's struggling to make money. That's not a bad thing. You know, it's not a criticism against him. Those are the rules that Apex set. He was still following within, you know, it was a loophole. He was following within his rule. You can't blame people for loopholes. There's tax loopholes. You know, if I couldn't pay less tax and there was a loophole, I damn well I'd do it. But it just goes to show now he's struggling to make money. So these rules are there. Now, it does seem strange from a company who makes money. The rules are there to protect you and to stop you blowing your account. But it's as simple as that. They really are. Now, whether those rules are all their choice or whether those rules, you know, there's regulations coming in, whether the regulations say you have to help people at least protect themselves. I don't know all the nuts and bolts of it, but you know, the new rules aren't a company being a scammer. So when Kellyanne says they're on the scam list, they're not scammers. Now, hand on my heart, and I swear on my daughter's life, I would not categorize Apex as a scammer just because they decided to follow the rules. Changing the rules wasn't very good from a customer service point of view. But because they grew so big so quick, they didn't have the manpower and the capabilities to police the rules. And when they did and decided those are the rules now, if anybody doesn't follow them, we're going to stop the payment, everyone was in uproar. And so, yeah, I get it. You know, if you're making money and then they change the rules, it would have been much better for Apex to come out and say, okay, from the 1st of next month, we are now going to monitor the rules. If you break the rules, your payment will be on hold until the next 8-day payout period. That would have gone down a lot better, and they wouldn't have got so much grief. But I don't think Kellyanne can call them scammers. No, don't get me wrong. I like her videos. I like she's got a bit of punch behind her. But I wouldn't categorize someone like that. And not only that, you got to be careful what you call people nowadays. I mean, if it affects their business, it can be potentially costly. Kind of legalities and all that. So I'd say you're safe with Apex. I'd say you're safe with iFunny Futures. I'd say you're safe with Take Profit Trader. I've tried one account with them, but they do seem to rate pretty high, I think. So I'd say those three. Bullanox I hear okay. I've not tried them myself, but I know Wilson uses some Bullanox account. I think Sam's used some Bullanox. They seem to be okay. I hear pretty good things about Topstep. Topstep been around quite a long time. I think what makes Apex more attractive than any of the others is you can trade up to 20 accounts. So when you can trade, it's very attractive to be able to trade 20 accounts at the same time, as you can kind of understand. Let's have a look. How many accounts are you using with Apex? 6 I have. Use the same Apex trade copy here for both Apex and iFunny Future. You can, yes. I use Replicanto. That's the beauty. You can only do that with different firms if one is Rhythmic and one is through Tradeovate. It doesn't work if they're both with Rhythmic. I've tried it with Take Profit Trader. I got one with Rhythmic accidentally. I meant to get it with you have to sign out and sign in. It's whether I do it the long-winded way, but it's a bit of a ball ache, I think. So channel down, one attempt to push higher, second attempt to push. So I'm going to get rid of this. Channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. I'm looking for a bearish bar to go short there. Now, I'm only trading one of my accounts. So let's see what happens here. Channel there, one attempt to go high, second attempt to go high. I prefer that bar to break above that green bar, really. It'd be nice for him to bounce off that midline. But that is kind of like a penguin style if it forms, which at the moment. So is this likely to come down some more? Let's have a look. Let me just link these two up. It's broken above there now, so that's good. You just get an order ready just in case. I'm just trading this on one of my accounts. I want that to push down here first before I consider it. I cancel my account with Bullanox. I do not like their new rules. Trade every 5th day. No, yeah, that's strange. I did hear you can't. They don't like you trading with other companies as well. Trade copy it. Why the hell? I don't know. But that doesn't make sense. Why can you not trade with their company? And the trouble is, if you start putting rules like that in it, you lose customers, and people decide
Order cancelled.
You know, when people get sort of consistent, I suppose the natural progression is to pick up accounts. You know, if you've got your Maxim with Apex, you pick up more accounts from other firms, and you copy across them all. So I don't see there's any reason why they wouldn't allow it. Every 5th day, no copy accounts. No, it's just some of the rules just seem a bit kind of primitive, really. And so 2 legs up. If we can get a lower high here below that email, have a go at this. Channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. So let me just link these tops up and just see how they fall. Well, that's interesting. I may have to have a go at this.
Order submitted.
I'm only trading on that one account. I'll see how this finishes. The only thing that's might make me change your mind is that. Let's see how it finishes.
Order cancelled.
My other chart's a little bit better. It's kind of a triple test as well, isn't it? If that bar finished a little bit fuller, closer to that EMA, trouble is at the moment that's still in that little short-term trend channel. So I can't really take a short while we're in there. I mean, on this other chart, you could say there's a little bit of an overshoot. There's that lower high. Touch. Even if you squeeze that a little bit, it could still be a small overshoot. It's a bit finicky, actually, to be honest with you. I'm just leaving alone at the moment. Okay, I think I'm done for the week, folks. It's not been a bad week. 2 trades. In fact, no, I've only had 1 trade this week. I had a couple of days of complete toothache. Explain what Apex calls flipping. Okay, so if you, I believe you can. So if you, let's say, for instance, you're trading 1 or 2 contracts. You're welcome, mate. I'll just explain this and I'll go. Let's say, for instance, I trade 1 or 2 contracts. Now, if I got my account over $2,600 in, let's say, 7 days, and I didn't want to risk the 8th day, flipping is if you go down to micros, change your ATM strategy to 1 tick profit, 1 tick loss. Now, on a micro, even if you lose it, you'll lose $2.50. So what it is, basically, it's getting out, it's trading the smallest amount possible, whether you win or lose, just to count as a day. Now, I'm under the understanding that as long as you've got 5 days of $100, it doesn't so much matter what you do on the remaining 3 days. But check that, double check it. But I remember watching what's his name? You know, not Darren Martin, the other one. I remember watching him, and I'm pretty sure that they said they were now taking it to 8 days. You're welcome, mate. So yeah, it's just basically trading 1 micro, 1 tick. You lose $2.50, you win $2.50. It just counts as a day, you know. So that's pretty much what it is. You're welcome, mate. So yeah, I've had a couple of trades this week, so I'm up about $600 per account. I think I got into another one, but came out, I think, I can't remember. I think I had a couple of trades, but if I can get 2 winning trades up in a week, I'm more than happy with that. Sorry, it's been a bit of a funny week. I had a day off this week, but I just had this flipping terrible tooth infection. It was just driving me around the twist. Every time I was talking, my mouth was obviously sucking in and inhaling and blowing wind, and it was just, and I was necking water like it was going out of business. So my apologies for not trading the one day, but there you go. You're welcome, mate. Thanks for your company, John. So if you're counting on trading, guys, best of luck. Failing that, have a great weekend. I'm pretty sure, like me, you're going to be stuck dragging around shops ready for Christmas, but it's coming up quick, isn't it? But I don't know. I feel nice. I'm in a good place at the moment. I'm going to enjoy Christmas this year. So I appreciate your company, guys. So have a great day. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll catch up on Monday. Bye for now.